Imagine waking up today with absolute certainty that this is your last day. What would you do? Who would you seek out? What words would you choose to say? And which ones would you leave unsaid? For many, this is an uncomfortable question, but for the Stoics, it is the daily invitation to live with clarity, presence, and purpose. And curiously, it is also one of the secrets to finding our Ikigai. Ikigai, the deep reason that makes us get out of bed every morning, is not just about dreams and passions. It is about how we choose to live, even, or perhaps especially, when life does not follow the script we imagine. Stoicism, a philosophy born over 2,000 years ago, offers a surprisingly relevant map for this journey. From Athens to Rome, from Seneca to Marcus Aurelius, from slaves to emperors, the Stoics taught that true freedom is not in controlling the world, but in mastering oneself. And perhaps this is precisely the bridge between Stoicism and Ikigai. Understanding that living with purpose is not waiting for circumstances to be perfect, but acting according to what is most essential to us, despite imperfections. In this video, we will explore how the greatest masters of Stoicism can guide us to find and sustain our Ikigai, with practices that have lasted centuries and continue to transform lives. You will learn timeless lessons from Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and others, applied to the modern challenge of living with meaning, focus, and serenity. So, take a deep breath and join me on this philosophical journey where ancient wisdom meets the most current pursuit of your life. Because, in the end, maybe your purpose is already here, just waiting for you to live it. To understand how Stoicism can help us live our Ikigai, we need to travel back in time, more than 2,000 years ago, to ancient Greece. The story begins with a man named Zeno of Citium. He was not a philosopher by birth, nor a war hero, but a merchant of Phoenician origin. His fate changed when, during a voyage, his ship sank. Zeno lost everything: goods, wealth, security. But, as he himself would later say, "I went in search of happiness when my ship sank." In Athens, disoriented and seeking a new purpose, Zeno found inspiration by listening to readings about Socrates. Driven by curiosity, he spent years studying with different teachers until he created his own school around 300 BC, a school without walls located at the painted porch, Stoa Poikile, in the center of Athens. From this stoa came the name of the philosophy, Stoicism. Stoicism was born as a practical philosophy aimed at real life. It was not about abstract debates, but about how to live well, regardless of fortune or misfortune. Its core principles were clear. Virtue is the only true good. We should focus only on what is under our control, accept what we cannot control with serenity. Over time, the philosophy spread throughout the Hellenistic world and later found fertile ground in Rome. There it was adopted by people from all social classes, from slaves to emperors, and became one of the most influential currents of Western thought. In Rome, Stoicism adapted and flourished. Epictetus, born a slave, showed that true freedom is internal. Seneca, an advisor to emperors, wrote about the value of time and the necessity of living according to reason. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, left an intimate journal that still inspires leaders and seekers of purpose today. Even with the fall of the Roman Empire, Stoic ideas never disappeared. They survived in the works of philosophers, monks, scientists, and thinkers throughout history. And today, in the 21st century, they are reborn strongly as an antidote to anxiety, haste, and the emptiness of a life without meaning. And it is precisely here that the bridge with Ikigai begins to form. If Ikigai shows us the why of living, Stoicism offers us the how to maintain clarity, calmness, and determination to follow the path, even when everything seems to conspire against us. Stoicism was shaped not only by one founder, but by different voices that over the centuries transformed it into a living philosophy. Each of these masters left us not only ideas, but tools to apply in daily life. And this is where Ikigai finds fertile ground. The first philosopher of interest for our video is Seneca, Nero's advisor and author of On the Shortness of Life. Lucius Annaeus Seneca, or simply Seneca, was born in Córdoba, Hispania, and lived in the heart of Rome during the 1st century AD. He was a writer, playwright, senator, and advisor to Emperor Nero, a role that placed him at the center of power and at the same time on a knife's edge. His texts, especially Letters to Lucilius and On the Shortness of Life, remind us that the most precious resource is not gold, but time. He warns us that most people live as if they have eternity ahead, delaying dreams, purposes, and reconciliations. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have little time, but that we waste much." For Ikigai, this lesson is vital. Knowing what moves us is useless if we do not use our days to live it. Seneca invites us to cut excess, avoid distractions, and dedicate energy to what truly matters, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. The second philosopher we will explore is Epictetus, the free slave. Born in Hierapolis, Phrygia, modern Turkey, in the 1st century AD, Epictetus began his life as a slave to an official of Emperor Nero. Even deprived of physical freedom, he discovered that no one could imprison his mind. After gaining his freedom, he began teaching philosophy and left behind the Enchiridion, Manual of Life, and his diatribes. The core of his thought is simple but transformative. There are things under our control, our opinions, desires, and actions, and things that are not, the weather, politics, others' actions. Wisdom lies in investing energy only in what we can influence. Epictetus said, "Do not seek that events happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will have a tranquil life." For Ikigai, this perspective is liberating. As we pursue our purpose, we will face obstacles. Epictetus reminds us that we do not need to control everything to move forward. We need indeed to keep a steady course, adjusting the sails according to the wind. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, is our third Stoic philosopher. In the 2nd century AD, Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire, facing wars, epidemics, and political crises. Even so, he dedicated his nights to writing personal reflections, collected in the work Meditations. This diary was not written for publication, but as an exercise in self-control and mental clarity. Marcus Aurelius teaches us about responsibility, humility, and the inevitability of death. He reminds us that we do not control the length of life, but we can decide how to live each moment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." On the path to Ikigai, this means cultivating a clear mind, even in the face of chaos. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment to act, but about acting purposefully with the circumstances we currently have. Our fourth and final Stoic philosopher to be discussed in this video is Musonius Rufus, Stoicism in Everyday Life. Less well known, Musonius Rufus was a teacher of Epictetus and an advocate of practical and inclusive philosophy. He believed that philosophy was not a luxury for the few, but a life guide for everyone, including women, at a time when that was uncommon. He argued that living in accordance with nature meant cultivating virtue, moderation, and courage, applying philosophy not only to major dilemmas but also to everyday small choices. Rufus said, "Philosophy should be applied in the kitchen, in the marketplace, at home, everywhere life happens." Know Ikigai, This lesson is essential. Our purpose is not only manifested in great achievements, but also in how we live each day, in conversations, work, relationships, and even in how we handle simple setbacks. These four pillars of Stoicism, Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Musonius Rufus, show us that there is no purpose without discipline, nor discipline without awareness of what is essential. The next step is to understand how these Stoic principles can serve as a solid foundation for living our Ikigai. Ikigai is often described as the intersection of four elements: what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, what you can be rewarded for. But finding this convergence is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning. Knowing your purpose is one thing. Living in accordance with it every day is another entirely. This is where Stoicism comes in as a powerful ally. If Ikigai is the map, Stoicism is the compass. Ikigai gives us the direction of what is worth pursuing. Stoicism provides us with the mental and emotional tools to follow the path, even when the terrain is hostile. Imagine someone who discovers that their purpose is to teach. Ikigai shows the importance of this for their life and for the world. But difficult days, criticism, lack of recognition, all of this can distract from the focus. Stoicism teaches to maintain serenity, to act with virtue, and not to depend on external approval, to keep teaching. A central concept of Stoicism is amor fati, which means love of fate. It is not about resignation, but about embracing even undesirable events as part of the journey. In Ikigai, this mindset is vital. Conditions will not always be ideal for living your purpose. Sometimes the road will be steep and lonely. Amor fati is looking at each obstacle and saying, "This is also part of my story." Marcus Aurelius teaches that what happens is what was destined to happen. Accept it as if you had chosen it. The Stoics spoke of eudaimonia, a state of fulfillment that does not depend on riches or pleasures, but on living with virtue and reason. This aligns perfectly with Ikigai, which is not just about immediate satisfaction, but about a life that makes sense in the long run. While the modern world often measures success by material possessions or status, both Stoicism and Ikigai remind us that true success is waking up every day with a clear conscience and the feeling of being on the right path. Epictetus taught that we should focus only on what is under our control, our actions, choices, and attitudes. Ikigai also requires this focus. You do not control all opportunities, but you control how you prepare for them. You do not control recognition, but you control the quality of what you deliver. This mindset protects us from frustration and keeps us aligned with our purpose, even in times of uncertainty. For the Stoics, living with purpose is living according to the cardinal virtues, which are wisdom, discerning what is right, courage, acting despite fear, justice, doing what is due to others, temperance, maintaining balance and moderation. No Ikigai, these virtues manifest as the quality of the service we provide to the world, the commitment to our values, and the integrity with which we follow our path. Ikigai without Stoicism can be lost in the face of challenges. Stoicism without Ikigai can become a discipline without direction. But when the two philosophies come together, lives are born guided by an unwavering purpose, supported by a mind and heart trained to face any storm. Stoicism is not just philosophy for contemplation, it is a manual for life. And when we apply its principles to Ikigai, it transforms into a set of practices that strengthen our ability to live our purpose even on the most difficult days. Here are some exercises and habits anyone can start today. 1. Ikigai Stoic Journal. Every day upon waking or before sleeping, write, What is essential for my purpose today? What is under my control? What distractions can I eliminate? This habit, inspired by Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, helps maintain focus and clarity. Over time, you will notice patterns and adjust your actions to live more aligned with your Ikigai. 2. Negative visualization. A practice taught by the Stoics to value the present. Close your eyes and imagine that something important in your life is no longer there. A person, a place, a resource. Feel the loss for a moment, and then return to reality with gratitude. This technique makes us realize the value of what we already have and prevents the purpose from getting lost in constant dissatisfaction. 3. Memento mori. Remember that you will die. Instead of being morbid, this reminder is liberating. It places us before the urgency of life and keeps us away from procrastination. Write on a piece of paper and keep it visible. Time is short. Live what matters. With this, every decision will be filtered through the question, does this contribute to my Ikigai? 4. Dichotomy of control list. In any situation, 2 columns. What I can control, what I cannot control. Put all your energy into the first column and accept the second as part of the journey. This simple practice reduces anxiety and keeps focus on what truly makes a difference. 5. Practice of virtues. Choose one Stoic virtue per week: wisdom, courage, justice, temperance, and establish concrete actions to live it. For example, wisdom. Read a chapter of a book that broadens your perspective. Courage. Facing a difficult conversation you've been delaying. Justice. Helping someone without expecting anything in return. Temperance. Limiting social media use to have more time for your purpose. 6. Nightly review. Before sleeping, reflect as Seneca did. Where did I act in accordance with my Ikigai today? Where did I stray from it? What can I improve tomorrow? This daily self-assessment creates a continuous cycle of learning and alignment. 7. Service to the world. Remember, Ikigai is not just about personal fulfillment, but about contribution. Ask yourself daily, what was my contribution to the world today? This practice reinforces a sense of purpose and connects Ikigai to the universal value of justice and the common good, highly valued by the Stoics. These practices may seem simple, but when repeated daily, they build a life of solid purpose, sustained by Stoic resilience. And thus, philosophy ceases to be just theory and becomes a way of life. Stoicism reminds us that life is not about waiting for a perfect destiny, but about living with integrity, presence, and courage in any circumstance. Ikigai shows us that each of us has a unique calling, something that gives meaning to our days and value to our existence. When we combine these two forces, we find not just a purpose, but the strength to live it, even when the tide is against us. Seneca taught us to value time. Epictetus showed us that true freedom is born within us. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the quality of life depends on the quality of our thoughts. And Musonius Rufus told us that philosophy is lived in every gesture of daily life. Your Ikigai may already be there, silent, waiting for you to notice it. And perhaps the only thing missing is the courage to look at life and say, I will live with purpose, no matter what happens. Today, start with a simple step. Pick up a piece of paper and write down what is most important to you, that which, if lived every day, would make your life worth it. Then use Stoic discipline to protect this purpose as if it were your most precious asset, because it is. If this message touched you, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment sharing which Stoic principle resonates most with your Ikigai, and share this video with someone who needs to hear these words. Together, we will spread more purpose, serenity, and courage around the world. Remember, living with purpose is a daily choice. and each day is a unique opportunity to honor who you are and what you came here to do.